hearing the name Ben.
One of my sons.
Your dad is telling me that your son has been having a lot of emotional issues. This has been really hard for you because you both have been saying as parents, I don't know how to fix this.
Very much, yes.
Yeah.
He says all you can do is give him as much love as you can, and that's what you've been doing. Why are you all crammed in the clown car right now?
Yeah, we were on our way and having computer troubles, so we decided to just stay put.
Perfect. Well, first of all, I'm glad that you're here. And where are you guys from?
We live in Barrie, Ontario.
Oh, great. Well, first of all, I'm glad that you're here. And right away when I'm connecting, I keep hearing I'm the father. So your dad departed?
Mine did, yes.
So know that your dad is right there with you, because right when I see that empty seat, your father's right behind you, sir. And do you know that your father just said to me when I'm connected, don't touch his father. What the hell are you doing? She's over there like this in the background.
Waved at him.
I'm kidding with you. Listen, know that one of the things is that your father said to me, Matt, he goes, there's so much I got to tell my son that I didn't get to say here in this world. And your dad has taken this opportunity because first of all, when I'm connecting with him, this was a man who had suffered before his passing here in this world.
Yes.
He tells me that there were all these issues that had happened with him. And when I start to connect with your loved ones, they'll start to show me the things that they experienced here in this world. And when I'm connecting with your dad, he shows me all this fluid coming up and I feel like I'm drowning as I'm speaking to him. All I want to do is cough. I feel like I can't get this fluid up. And then next thing you know, he shows me these complications and he just died.
Yes, he did.
Your dad says to me this. He says to me, Matt, this happened so quickly with me because your dad tells me that I know he was sick beforehand. I know that he was battling other illnesses, he tells me.
Yeah.
But your father was also a fighter through and through.
Yes, he was.
And he tells me that, can you tell my son, we really didn't worry about my health. He says, because I was the type of person, Matt, where I just rubbed dirt on it and I was fine. He goes, that's just how I was. He goes, I had everything under the sun. There was all of these issues that I had throughout my life. He says, but I just kept going. He says, and what's so tough is that literally you had several scares with your dad. He tells me there were so many health scares where literally you would drop everything and run to your dad because you were nervous that he was going to die. You were nervous that something was going to happen to him. But this last time actually took you by the blue, he tells me.
I actually spoke to him that morning and he was fine.
There you go. So your dad says to me, Matt, my son feels so guilty because he didn't get to say goodbye to me. My son feels so upset that he wasn't right there. Your dad says to me, listen, I had so many other health scares. Who would have known I would have died in this way? He said to me. Who would have known that this would have happened? You know, your dad is actually telling me that before he had passed, he was just at the doctor's, he tells me. And he talks about actually checking himself out of the doctors or checking himself out of the hospital.
He was supposed to be moved from one unit to another and then coming home shortly after, but he never made it there.
What's crazy is that he kept saying to me, I don't even feel like I need to be here anymore. I don't feel like I need to be here anymore. That's what he keeps telling me. And then, like I said, he talks about trying to leave the hospital. And the reason why that's so important is not because of him leaving, but it's because of the fact that he tells me that he didn't take this as seriously as it was. Your dad didn't think this was as serious as it was. And he's telling you this for one reason, to bring you some peace. Because if your dad didn't take it seriously and he didn't think that that was the last time he'd be talking to you on the phone, he doesn't want you to feel that way either. He goes, the toughest thing about this, he goes, is my body gave out, Matt. He goes, out of all the years I was sick, because your dad battled illness for like the last 8 years of his life. He's showing me like 8 years. And he's showing me that all of this time, it was almost like pulling at thread, right? It's like when you have a rope and you pull one thread at a time. He says, this was just the last straw, Matt. He says, my body couldn't handle it anymore. But I will tell you that what's amazing is this. Your dad is showing me that they did everything that they could for him at the hospital. You know, I'm seeing them pumping him through full of IVs. I keep seeing that they had all of these different medications going through them. And at one point, he even shows me they tried to revive him or bring him back. He said, so Matt, you need to tell my son that every single thing was done for me and the hospital gave me every chance to live, he says, and to be here. But it happened literally all of a sudden. And I'm going to tell you that this happened while your father was sleeping. Because I asked him what happened. He goes, I was asleep when this happened. And then all of a sudden, I keep seeing him coding and I keep seeing all of these things happening from there. But your dad keeps saying to me, and he keeps repeating this, Matt, when I say I was fine and I didn't think that anything was wrong with me, he says, I'm telling you that.
It was very much like that.
You still have questions over, did my dad know that he was passing? Did he know about all these things? He's saying, no, I really didn't. But the one thing that he's acknowledging is this. He says, the moment that I got to the other side, he says, I got to see amazing things. He says, I got to see, you know, the moments that I missed out on here in this world. Because he shows me that one of his biggest regrets was not getting to see the milestones that you and your wife had here in this world. Because he tells me he wouldn't travel and he wouldn't go places. And if I did go, he goes, I wouldn't be able to be myself. And he goes, Matt, he goes, do you know that that's what really bothers my son? He said, what really bothers him is that he feels that I didn't get to be a part of, you know, the celebrations that he had with between him and his wife and his family. He was present, he was here, but he really wasn't there. Your dad says to me, please don't let that bother you, because the moment that I got to the other side, he said something amazing happened. And that amazing thing is that I was able to go back and see every moment of your life from start to finish. I was able to see the things that I've missed out on. I was able to be a part of so much. And I'm so, so happy about that, he tells me. Now, wait a minute. How do you connect with the motorcycles? Now I'm seeing visions of motorcycles here.
My grandfather and my uncles all love motorcycles.
Know that your dad is there and he's with them as well, because all I see are all these bikes lined up. He's showing me this vision. So letting you know that if that was your grandfather and that was his uncle and you grew up around those bikes, it's his way of letting you know that they're all back together on the other side, because I see that as well. And it's your dad's way of just bringing that up, letting you know that he is okay, he's with you, he's watching over you. And one other thing that I'm also hearing, I'm hearing the name Ben. Is there Ben or Benjamin?
One of my sons.
Because he's telling me he's watching over him. So know that one of the things is, this is where souls will start to bring up things in our life. And I don't want to get too personal or too in detail, but he tells me that you're worried about your son. You're worried about Benjamin, he tells me.
Very much so, yes.
And he tells me that it's been a really hard struggle, that you've been dealing with a lot of emotions with your son. And he says, Matt, can you please tell him he's a great dad? And please tell his wife that she's an amazing mom. He says, but I gotta let them know, he says, that they have to give themselves a break too. You know, this is what happens when we are stressed over things, and there's some things that are beyond our control. And your dad is telling me that your son has been having a lot of emotional issues that he's been going through. He tells me he's been having a lot of anxiety and he's been having all these things. And this has been really hard for you, because you both have been saying as parents, I don't know how to fix this.
Very much, yes.
Yeah.
He says to me, listen, he says, all you can do is give him as much love as you can. And that's what you've been doing. Your dad says to me, you need to tell them not to feel so helpless. He shows me you doing all these different things. I see you bringing him to doctors and nurses and all of these things, trying to figure out how to help him. And your dad says to me, I'm helping him as well. I'm on the other side. I'm watching over him. I got to be honest with you. Your dad says to me there needs to be other resources here to help him. He says right now, the hard part with him is he thinks the world is against him.
Yep.
And he says to me that literally the two of you have done everything in your power, but you need a little bit of extra help. So is your dad watching over you from the other side? Absolutely. Does he see everything going on with your son? Absolutely. But he's saying, remember this, as old as he is and gets, you are still his parents and you know what's best for him. And you need to trust that. So even though he might be saying something to you on the outside, okay, what you're feeling on the inside is what you need to go with. Because I have to say something that I really don't want to say to you, but I have to. He's telling me your son's not telling you the truth.
We know.
We believe that.
So I'm telling you this because I don't see everything as a medium. I don't know your son's life or anything, but your dad does. So your dad says to me, as much as you want him to live his own life, as much as you want him to make his own decisions, he says, he's also showing me you having to intervene. And you're upset because you know that he gets upset with you and gets mad at you, and it's so difficult. But your dad says to me, don't let that stop you from doing what you feel is right as his parents. And listen, your father goes to me like this. I shouldn't tell you what he's telling me, but I have a policy where I gotta tell you everything that your loved ones tell me. And your father's going like this. He goes, Matt, he goes, I was that type of father. He goes, I didn't listen to what my son wanted. He goes, I did whatever I felt was right as a parent. He goes, I slapped him around a few times. He goes, but look at the way it turned out. Is that your dad? And you know what's so weird? Wait a minute, hold on. This man is cracking me up. I love your father, by the way. He's going to me, Matt, I used to make him pay me money. What the hell is he talking about?
He used to make me pay rent and stuff like that, just as a way of teaching me how to financially manage myself when I got older.
Shut the hell up, because he's going to me, Matt. He goes, I loved my son. He goes, but I also had tough love as well. He goes, and I didn't pay him. He paid me. He goes, I'm like, what are you talking about? And I see you like as a kid, like having to hand over your father money.
Yeah, they never gave me an allowance. I had to earn it all.
So know that that's your dad's way of just acknowledging from the other side that he's so proud of you. But your dad's going to me like this. He goes, tell him not to be soft. He goes to me. Look, he goes, I was hot. He goes, but we still had love.
Thank you very much, Matt.
You know what's so funny? Your dad actually tells me you were a skeptic before you came here. You weren't sure if this was real. Is that true?
Yes and no. Yes, I've come to a few of your readings, and it's always in the back of my mind, but not now.
I really hope that this helps you, and I'll be keeping you, your family, and your son in my prayers. All right. I'm going to leave you with that.
Thank you. Thank you.